Hey Jasmine, say hello. Sorry. Our neighbour Jasmine, say hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
That was Jasmine, my best friend.
Great to have you here, Jasmine.
25 minutes because I was too scared to come in and then
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I hope the mic picked it up because that's cute as hell. Do you need a drink?
whose phone just buzzed? I'm gonna kill them because I got told off.
The producer?
My God, woman.
Hey Jasmine, do you want to produce a podcast? By the way? Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the 1.5 Straight Guys podcast. I'm Rowan.
I'm Alex.
I'm Max, and I'm an Aquarius.
This episode we have a special guest. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Max. I'm Rowan's friend, and I was the easiest one to get on the podcast at such short notice.
Yeah, and I also like how you didn't say you were my friend either.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just didn't think it needed to be said.
Of course.
We have such a close bond.
Yeah. Occasionally you guys will mention like being each other's best friend to each other. And I actually tried to kill my...
It's like when I first started hanging out with you guys, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got Adam on Facebook, Cal on Facebook, Max on Facebook. Lex never got the invite.
I don't add people on Facebook first. I think it's too desperate. Like, I remember when I finally got Emma's friend request, I was like, yes!
Not the sim!
I win!
So we've all had a couple of drinkies before this episode, which is like, fine. The issue is I got Emma the producer drunk. So this episode's probably the worst sounding episode we've had so far. Oh yeah, we also decided this is the time we give her a mic.
Yeah.
So this is going to be unlistenable. Because I feel like with the second episode, we really like hit our stride. We got confident.
Too confident.
Too confident, one might say. Which for me and Lex, hard.
I was hard for most of the episode.
So the main topic I want to talk about this episode, because I think it's dumb as fuck, is you guys have both heard about this city point Christian college shit, right?
No, tell me about it.
You're a really good yes-ander.
I love this.
Have you ever tried like improv?
Is this improv? The high school I went to, City Point Christian College, a week before students started going back to school, they were like, you know what's really cool? Let's just release an amendment to our contract that says, we believe that any form of sexual immorality, including but not limited to adultery, fornication, homosexual acts, bisexual acts, incest, pedophilia, and pornography, because those are all same level, is sinful and offensive to God and is destructive to human relationships and society. Parents have to sign this.
Wait, I have multiple things to say about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's also just
We're really
the first.
casting the net wide here.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, but my first thing is, I love how the distinction between not only adultery and fornication,
Yeah.
two different things, also the distinction between homosexuality and bisexuality is a better distinction than most of like the queer community.
Right? City Point College, actually.
Allies.
Allies, honestly.
Yeah.
And then the next bit that people had issues with for some reason is we agree that where distinctions are made between male and female, inclusive of, but not limited to, uniforms, presentation, terminology, use of facilities and amenities, participation of sporting events, and accommodation, these distinctions are applied on the basis of the individual's biological sex. So essentially, they're like, in our first line, we didn't really go for trans people enough. So now we're just going to be like, students, they're the gender they were born at. They will stay that. The wild thing is, you guys have been following like the discrimination bill Scott Morrison's trying to pass.
Yeah.
Hasn't passed yet, notably.
Yeah.
So this is just fully illegal from anyone who like follows anything. So that was what's going on at the moment.
I'm glad that because I have two aunts, right? And one of them listens to this podcast.
One of them really gay.
One of them really Christian.
Oh, okay.
Like really Christian. Also notably like, not anti-vax, but she did a bunch of research, I did air quotations, into like vaccinations on Facebook. And also notably, my mother works for pharmaceutical companies.
Yep.
And she texted my mum being like, oh, like I don't think the vaccine's like
no.
really good for you or whatever. And my mum was like, what? Like, this is my job.
This is literally my expertise.
Yeah. Hello, family member in this industry.
My 16-year-old cousin messaged me being like, dude, sick podcast, really cool. And his dad, my uncle, anti-vax, very Christian, believes this is the end times because everyone's getting microchipped by the fucking vaccine. So great audience so far. I like the cousin. He's sick.
Shout out to Ron's uncle.
Shout out to
Fucking name him outright. He also lives at.
So one thing about the amendment to the City Point contract that I found really interesting is it is so bigoted that even Scott Morrison thought it was too homophobic. I've got a quote here from him that says, "I don't support that. My kids go to Catholic school in Sydney, and I wouldn't want my school doing that either." And that is right here, from the man trying to pass the Religious Freedom Bill. Imagine being so fucking bigoted that Scott Morrison is like, that's actually a bit much.
Yeah.
Since then, because for some reason this has gotten a lot of backlash from parents, 23 parents who have kids at the school currently wrote a letter to the principal being like, maybe you should just like not be the principal anymore if this is the decisions you make. And he stepped down since then. So
That's good. He takes criticism well.
very well. So hopefully a less bigoted principal for that school.
Fingers crossed.
I just blew a huge cloud of smoke in Emma's face. I just wanted to point that out.
I didn't really notice.
So it wasn't that bad.
My clouds are not as big as I thought.
Yeah.
I'm kind of distracted by my ramen earrings.
The person who's in charge of producing this podcast and making sure it's recorded well actually works is playing with earrings at the moment. So that really sets the tone.
She also just did thumbs up to the mic.
So yeah, my entire week has been following the fucking City Point shenanigans and just unfriending people on Facebook I went to school with who are very in support of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really imagine having to do that. Hey, just purge your friend list because it turns out they're all just fuckheads.
There are people I've spoken to within the last few months, hung out with, who are just like,
What's
I
the
actually
problem?
fucking love this. Dude, Christians, most oppressed race. We need to really stand up for them.
Yeah, gamers got nothing on them.
Dude, gamers have nothing on Christians.
There's a church near my house that is called a Christian Community Center, and their what's the word? Not anagram. Their acronym
Yep.
is ACC instead of CCC. It's because they did a Christian Community Center, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's too close to KKK.
I can see that.
Also, CCC is taken by City Point Christian College.
Also, the Crime and Corruption Commission.
Goddamn.
I just don't.
You're
so
not
taken-
expected to take notes.
I was just so taken aback by the whole thing. I
Right?
don't even know what to say. It's such a bizarre
it's the
stance to take, and it's just so.
just the arrogance of doing it before the bill, the
let's-
shitty bill
let's
that makes it
sneak this
legal.
in right before it
Right?
all becomes
Right
good.
before this becomes fully legal.
Yeah, watch in another 6 months.
Yeah. So
when
they've
this bill
obviously
passes.
withdrawn the bill. They got too much backlash. There was a petition against it that got 150,000 signatures. There was a petition for it being like, no, we need this to go through. They got 15,000 signatures. So I think maybe there was one side that was way more vocal than the other side in terms of
You reckon that's exactly how many straight people are in Brisbane?
150,000? Oh no, 15,000? From my personal experience, yes.
So I've got 3 notes, and that's it. They're all gibberish, but I will
So out of character for you.
I'll try and decipher them as best as
Decrypt.
possible. The first one is, it just says, sister got PTSD. So basically when we were younger, there was this Robbie Williams song, and in the music video, he rips his clothes off, and then the people watching him aren't satisfied, so he starts ripping his skin off, and then he starts ripping his muscles off until he's just a
Oh, I've
skeleton.
seen that one.
Yeah, he's like dancing in the center, there's like all these women roller skating around him. And my sister watched that at the age of like 7 or something, and she got like PTSD from it.
Where literal...
Yes, and every time the song came on, she would scream and run out of the room. And it was so embarrassing being in public, because it was a really popular song at the time. And it was so embarrassing being in public, and the song would just come on and she'd freak out and like run away. Like we'd be in a night owl, and it would just come on. And I had to finish the shopping myself.
Night Owl is not the first
That's
shot
the
that comes
funniest
to mind.
fucking example to give.
Yeah.
That's just the one I most recently remember.
We were at the local,
Recently?
we were at the local servo the other week.
Yeah, no, this was like years ago, but she eventually got over it.
And one of the things I really want to talk about this week, because it was such a strange experience, was I was, on the weekends I do a bit of sales work. I'm a coffee machine salesman for a brand I'm literally legally not allowed to mention while I work for them.
Can you tell us what it rhymes with?
It rhymes with espresso.
You're a fuckhead. Can I say it? Like, you can't say it, but
Yeah.
can I?
Maybe?
Let's
No.
just say
I
it could be anyone. Maybe it's Nespresso.
Could be Dolce Gusto, could be Breville, could be an espresso, it's an espresso.
Well, it can't be anyone else. You said them.
Halfway through my shift on the weekend, I got a message from my mum being like, hey, you know those, like, you know how I have a few clients, a lot of them quite wealthy. Some of them are throwing a housewarming party for their $15 million mansion, and they need a bartender. I just responded, okay. Me, salesperson and IT guy, I only mix drinks for friends. I can make a decent old-fashioned.
You make a very good old-fashioned.
I do make a good old-fashioned. I stand by that. And she said, this person is desperate. She'll pay you really well. Can you mix drinks at this fucking party tonight? Me always saying yes to free money and taking any networking opportunity that comes to me. Surely. Yes, I'll do this.
Of course.
I then, a few hours later, got a message from the host. And she said, yeah, we'll probably come over at 5. It'll probably end at like 9 or 10 at the latest. I was there till 1:30 a.m. To quote Max, rich people drink like they don't want to fucking live. I made the mistake of trying to like really give a good service. So when the first client said they want an espresso martini, I told them, I work for this specific coffee company. If you have a machine by this specific coffee company, we can move it behind the bar and I can make espresso martinis. They happen to have a machine.
An espresso machine.
An espresso machine.
I used to be a caterer, and when I was a caterer, one time I would always serve food. But one day they were like, "Oh, we have a job for you where we'll be serving food, but we need you to tend bar essentially." But the bar was just a table with a bunch of like wine, and it was just a bunch of red wine and white wine, and that was it. And then for the kids, they had what was called appetizer, which was
Sure.
I love appetizer.
Sparkling apple juice?
Yes. And then the
Appetizer is a South African product, I believe.
Is it?
Appetizer,
Is it
grape-tizer,
really?
yeah.
That's why it's so bad.
Yeah.
I love appetizer.
No, it's so good.
They also have grape tizer.
I love grape
That's the best one. Appetizer's a poor standard.
When I showed up to this $15 million fucking mansion, their bar, more kid out than actual bars I've seen in real life, they must have spent $1,000 just on liquor. These people have a separate part of their house that's like segmented off. They just call it their museum. It has like, I think...
Human bodies in it, probably.
Yeah, that's a very rich people
Somehow
thing to have.
more cringe. It has like 15, maybe 20 cars in it. Ferraris. These people are parts of the Porsche club, so mostly Porsches, but they've got like, I think like Ferrari in there. Issue is, I never got to see it, because in the 8.5 hours I worked there, I had a 5-minute break, because people wouldn't fucking stop drinking. So
Pretty big housewarming.
they have a freshwater pool, so no chlorine, no salt,
You could drink out of it.
but they have fish.
They have fish in the pool.
Freshwater pool with fish in it is what they swim in.
They swim with the fish.
They swim with the fishes.
Just wondering, because eels. Freshwater pool, eels would be my number one concern if I ever had one of those.
I'm assuming they picked and chose what...
No, but they just rock up. They'll just rock up. If there's eels anywhere nearby, if it ever floods, which if you live in Brisbane, you know it does.
It does,
From time to time. They'll just stand up in your pool. Also, they can just walk, like,
They're also
a
notably...
kilometre or so.
Their backyard is a park. They essentially have a personal park.
Well, that's what happens
so if
to my...
anything's going to fucking rock up, like, eels probably
It'll be
could.
eels. I had friends over in Gumdale, and they had these gorgeous freshwater... they were dams, really. But they were, like, new, and they stocked them with, like, bass, perch, all sorts of cool stuff. And it ended up just full of eels, and you couldn't swim in there because they bite you.
I had this idea a few days ago, and I was like, I want to go to the movies in a big trench coat on someone's shoulders and try and get in by buying one ticket.
Oh, the classic fucking
Yeah.
3 kids in a trench coat situation,
Exactly.
but it's 2 adults.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I
You might need a third to make up the height.
made a
You are half a striker.
Yeah, I made a Venn diagram of people. One side was people who could support me on their shoulders, and the other side was people who would be willing to go to the movies with me and do that.
Is it just 2 separate circles?
Yeah, they don't touch at all.
No, and you were in the willing.
But not able.
But not in the strength category?
No.
Love to see it.
I think I would be in the able. I don't know if I'd be in the willing.
Yeah. I like put everyone in it, and it was really interesting to see which of my friends would do it and wouldn't do it. And the winner, the person who was in the center, was Cooper. But no one knows who Cooper is listening to this, so that doesn't really matter.
They will in the next few episodes. If he...
Yeah. I'm sure he'll bust onto this
He's
podcast.
going to be on this podcast just so I can get him to stop nagging about being on the podcast.
Has he been nagging you about it?
As of time recording, we've had 1 episode out. He was
Yeah.
nagging since... 0. None.
Wow.
Since we were talking about having a podcast.
That makes my appearance all the sweeter for myself.
You were the first first
I didn't even
like
know. I didn't
need
even know
to
you had
be
a
here.
podcast at all.
You've listened to a third of the first episode.
No, I listened to the whole thing last night, trying to sleep.
What do you think?
It's good. Like I said earlier, I just found myself wanting to interject because I just hang out with you guys all the time, and normally I'm there when you're saying dumb shit like Pokemon Snap is bad.
Yeah,
I was just in bed clenching my fists. I couldn't do anything about it.
me and
It was
Max
hard.
have like just hung out, just us with beers, maybe Jasmine, just playing Pokemon Snap.
It's a good time. It's a good game.
I would have been there if I was also a virgin. Didn't land? All right.
No,
Do not cut.
The one silence I'm keeping in.
another like vaguely interesting like experience I had this week was, you guys know like a Nintendo Direct is, right?
No.
No,
No, shut. I hate you guys.
we're not
So-
really gamers.
Making personal jokes on the podcast. Fuck me. Hey, so what's the bit there? Explain it to me. Explain to the viewers.
Only gamers would understand what a Nintendo Direct is.
On the fucking drive to the markets this morning, I was trying to be polite to my girlfriend Emma, the producer. So when I was trying to tell this exact story, I said,
Yeah, retail.
try to say it
Yeah,
back now. It makes
retell
me
it,
sound
dude.
like the
It'll-
bad guy.
Crazy.
Because Emma's only been in the video gaming community for a few years. So
That's
the wording,
only
not what
a
you
few
said.
years.
so the wording I said was, "Hey, you wouldn't know what a Nintendo Direct is. You've only been gaming for a few years, right?" So that went over well. So Sony's version of that is called a State of Play. They've been doing it for like 2 years now, I think. I believe it's like a post-COVID thing because E3 not been happening as much.
Yeah, harder to get together.
So Sony did a State of Play called the Gran Turismo 7 State of Play. That was the title of this live stream. And I watched it because I'm vaguely invested in like driving games to a certain extent.
Wow.
Didn't watch it. As a kid, I really liked Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, I played Gran Turismo 6 with my dad twice to try and bond with him. It didn't work. So ever since then, I think in my brain, the same space occupying wanting fatherly attention and racing games is just like, it's a Venn diagram, it's just one circle at this
One
point.
circle.
So, so I was watching the fucking 45-minute long State of Play for Gran Turismo 7, and the live comments was so much more entertaining than the actual showcase of the game itself. The showcase, great. They were showcasing like the weather system, the car system, the like storylines for like different car manufacturers. Like they're really focusing on like, if you really want to learn about like the history of cars, this will get you there. But the comments were just like, I wrote a few down that I thought were really funny. One comment was just the word boring. Classic. Timeless. The other one, I really like this one, was show gameplay of God of War Ragnarok. This is called the Gran Turismo 7 State of Play. And then people just started like complaining. No one cares about weather and puddle physics. You're just ripping off Forza. My favorite one was just 2 words. Xbox. Trash. One of my other favorite ones, this was a recurring one because obviously we had the whole Microsoft bought Activision thing happening recently. So, big console manufacturer buying big company with giant allegations against it.
Yeah.
So the other comments were just everyone saying, Sony, please buy Ubisoft. Please buy the other company with rape allegations, please. You can fix them.
You can fix them.
Your vape says XXL. So because you're a big boy? Like,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Drunk
He's a
Emma being
big-
the producer.
Big boy who blows
a
big
large lad.
clouds.
Drunk Emma's just like, your vape is XXL. Do you have like a big cock? Ha 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 ha.
not what I said.
Yeah, I think we can actually play that one back as well.
Yeah, Rowan like reading way too much into Emma to me. Emma's like, "How you going, Alex?" And he's like, "Emma, that was a bit forward."
Yeah, I don't want you hanging out with like Cindy.
Do we want to talk about why I was 30 minutes late to hanging out with you guys in my own house?
Yeah, I think we should. I was pretty appalled that I didn't get an invite. First of all,
Oh, to the distillery?
yeah,
It was impromptu. So we all hung at the markets this morning because we're all men.
Notably, there were 3 or 4 women there.
No, we're all men.
we're all men.
And at one point, when it approached like midday, I said, if we want to have lunch at my place, we have to get moving. I've got cold meat in the bag. We just bought meat at the butcher there. So we have to really get moving.
And also, multiple times while we were walking the markets, Ron was like, we got to get the meat on the way back so that we don't have the cold meat in the bag for too long because it's like really hot today. So like,
Yeah. So then we all went on separate ways to get back to my place. And then on the walk back to the car, I saw a local distillery.
Rowan's kryptonite.
Give us a little flip.
That's the
Give that bottle
Brisbane
a flip.
something?
Literally
Brisbane Distillery.
Literally Brisbane Distillery Company. So we walked past and I thought,
What harm could it do?
I
There's
earn
no one going to my house right now.
I earn a few $100 bartending illegally, so I could buy a bowl of gin. So the people there had a bit of range. So I was thinking, I would like to taste one, just real quickly. So I asked if they were doing tastings, because it was a full bar setup. The tastings are $20, and you have to taste each thing they're doing at the moment. Essentially 3 gins of vodka and a rum. But that $20 is taking off a bottle of gin if you buy it.
Well, you'd be
so I thought,
crazy not
I'd be
to.
crazy not to.
You're
So
losing
while
money,
my friends were driving to my place to have a barbecue at my place, Emma and I were
All 4
tasting
of us.
gins for half an hour, deciding what to buy.
Of the 3 things that they had.
They had like a range of like 5, and we bought 3 different ones.
Right.
Because I wanted a gin, I wanted a vodka, I wanted a rum anyway.
Yeah.
I think the most like interesting part of this was as we were like checking out buying the gins, we saw their little bottles of hand sanitizer, because obviously hand sanitizer is a notable item at the moment. But I recognized like the logo. So I told the dude there like, oh, I actually recognize the hand sanitizer. And then he said, that's the hand sanitizer is literally the only reason we can afford to keep this place open right now.
Yeah.
They popped off so much during COVID because they're one of the few local places that can make hand sanitizer, that they could make the most like luxurious looking bar I've seen in a while.
How would
maybe.
you compare this bar to the housewarming bar?
The housewarming bar, the bar itself, tiny. But this gin distillery did not have their own fish, a fucking swimming pool.
freshwater fish.
Yeah.
No freshwater fish in a swimming
Yeah.
pool. So it was actually a bit disappointing.
I went in their pool, didn't get bitten by eels. Hated it.
All I wanted to fucking do when I was doing the bartending there was get a tour of the museum. I was just too busy.
Yeah, you're a big car guy.
Oh yeah, big car guy. I can name 2 car manufacturers.
Corolla.
Dude, I drive a Yaris. I'm actually a big car guy. I once looked someone in the eyes and said, you know, a Yaris can actually like kind of zoom. It's like kind of like you can use it as a racing car. And then they had a really blank face and walked off. That's the last time I ever talked to a real man.
Yeah, I was going to say, when was the last time you saw your dad?
My note just says small penis porn is bad.
Why?
Because
Let's discuss that.
Because, okay, so I was on my computer and I was looking at porn, classic. And while I was looking, I saw a leaked OnlyFans thing from this like TikToker that I've seen. And I was like, oh shit, like that's so weird. So I clicked on it. And
As you do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy in the video had the smallest penis. And I was like, this sucks. Like firstly, it's weird because like I've seen this go on TikTok, but it's just a bad video.
Can I confess something?
Yeah.
I actively prefer small
change the
penis
title.
videos because it's more immersive. If it's too big, I'm just like, I can't relate to
It breaks
this.
the immersion.
Breaks the
You're back
immersion.
in reality. Yeah.
That's not me.
No, that could never be me.
Max, have I ever told you my first impression of you the first time we met?
Oh no.
This is going to be brutal.
This is gonna hurt. Hold on.
So this was when I first started going to the local magic place at LGS. You showed up shit-faced
Did I?
at the launch of Modern Horizons.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh, I actually remember that.
You showed up shit-faced.
Yeah.
And me, a budding video game developer, just got my degree.
Congrats, by the way.
This is worse than that first impression. You were opening cards, being very friendly. I was like, oh, I like this guy. And then you offhandedly mentioned you like Pokemon. I thought, we got something we can talk about.
Big mistake.
Yeah, honestly. So I was like, how do you feel about the trailers for Sword and Shield? And then you just started.
You would have triggered me hard.
Yeah, you started going on a rant. The specific sentence you said that I think was the reason it took me a year before we really started getting along. But literally, this is real. Was because when we talked about how the Pokedex got cut in half, essentially, you said it's just a bunch of lazy coders who don't want to do their job.
Yeah. I stand by that statement.
You know who's doesn't have the right, the authority to choose how many Pokemons in a Pokemon game? The coders, the programmers. It's a designer.
They could have done something.
It's a designer / publisher level issue.
Oh, no.
I need to stop drinking while
Oh,
playing
no.
podcasts. I remember going home to my abusive ex-girlfriend.
Jesus.
And just being like, dude. So I met a few people. There's this guy called Alex. He farts a lot.
Fuck's sake.
He's a vegan. What? This really loud guy called Callum. Really like him. But there's this fuckhead. I forgot his name. And he was just complaining about Game Freak coders.
I was so mad. I'm still mad. I just want to play with all my Pokemon.
See, the thing is, you can be mad.
Yeah.
You were just mad at the wrong people.
I was drunk.
That was
By your own admission.
by my own admission. So the thing is, everything except that one sentence, you were lovely to me. But my brain, where it was in the time at like early 2019, was just, this is the one thing I need to not like this person. And now we're best friends.
Now I'm drinking your beer in your house.
Now drinking my beer without asking in my house.
Yeah, without restocking it. Pokemon have really redeemed themselves, though.
With Arceus?
But possibly the best game that has come out from Pokemon in a long time. It's a big step away from the
A
usual.
lot of people have said in literally the last decade. Like,
Yeah.
since pre-Sun and Moon.
I would say pre-Sun and Moon. What was before that? The Ruby... the
X and Y?
It was the remakes for Ruby and
Oh,
Sapphire,
Alpha
I
Ruby
think.
and...
They were good, in my opinion. But yeah, Arceus is so good. It's just completely different, but it still feels like a Pokemon game. Also, being the one in the grass is a nice change of pace.
You're the one in the grass.
I'm the one in
time.
the grass. The Pokemon have to be worried about me.
Dude, I'm in the grassy knoll. Those Pokemon are JFK.
Shut the fuck up. I reckon we're ready for Lex's Gaylord Book Corner.
Lex's Gaylord?
Oh, wait, you haven't listened to the second episode yet,
No.
so you don't understand
this
the
means
segments.
nothing to me,
You'll be pleasantly disappointed.
How rude.
as always.
So I read a book called Colourful by Eto Mori. And I want to preface this by saying, if you guess the twist while I'm telling you what happens, don't say it. Because
sure.
I want to get to the end and say the twist.
You want to be the one to tell us?
Yeah, because for like listeners who don't guess it, I want them to.
Is this a Japanese author?
Yes.
Sure.
Great guess.
Why are you here? I actually think maybe we don't have guests on, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cooper. Max has ruined it for you.
Okay, so this was like kind of a short book, but I really enjoyed it. It felt quite filled out, even though it wasn't that long. It's about this guy, and he dies, and when he's a soul, an angel comes and tells him and says, "Hey, you fucked up in your past life, big time. But you won sort of a lottery we have going up in the afterlife, where you get to be reborn. But you have to live in someone else's body until you figure out what you did wrong in your past life, then you can be reborn. If you don't figure it out, you don't get reborn into the cycle of life. You just cease to exist."
I'm assuming they remember their past selves? Or...
Don't remember that
Oh,
past
sure,
selves at
sure.
all.
That sounds like a terrible lottery.
So you have to live in the body of someone until you figure out what you did wrong in your past life, until you atone for your sins, basically. And let me just find the name of the person that he has to inhabit, because I wrote it in
Is
the
that a
wrong
Jasper?
place.
Is it going to be the fucking fourth book with a Jasper you talk about?
Yeah, literally. So the angel says, you'll be inhabiting the body of Makoto Kobayashi, who is 14.
Max!
Silent.
There's one fucking rule.
He's on silent.
Max's phone just went off because he's the least professional fucking person I've ever worked
I'm
with.
sorry, it's been so long since I did a professional podcast like this.
Max has actually been farting nonstop every like 10 seconds.
It's like when I first met Lex.
Fuck's sake.
Thank you.
Why did I set myself up for that?
Straight to
fat
the
Lex.
rescue.
God damn it. Yeah, so this guy has to inhabit the body of this 14-year-old kid. And the way he's inhabiting the kid is because the kid killed himself. And
Another story about suicide.
Yeah,
we
love it.
We'd love to hear it.
Love it. And as the kid died, his soul is going to go into the kid's body and he's going to wake up. So the kid's in hospital right now, like
Sure, so the kid was normally going to die, but instead of dying...
yes, the kid's on life support, brain dead. And instead of dying, he's going to wake up as this new guy, right?
Sure.
He wakes up. He also, the angel said he was going to guide him throughout his time in the other body. So if he needs any help, he can just like ask him and stuff like that. The boy has a mother, a father, and a brother. The brother's 17. And he spends the first bit of the book trying to find out why the body he's in tried to kill himself. And he discovers that the mum cheated on the dad. The dad is like a power-hungry, like greedy narcissist. And the brother is just like a piece of shit. Like, he just, like, torments him incessantly. Even after he wakes up and he's, like, survived trying to kill himself, he just, like, makes fun of him all the time. And, like, literally said shit like, you couldn't even die right kind of thing. Like, fucked up. Yeah, like, the brother is fucked up. He acts completely differently because he's not the owner of the body. And no one really notices because he's been through a traumatic event. So they're all like, oh, he's just, like, kind of readjusting. And they kind of leave him alone for a little bit. And he's, like, trying to figure out what's going on. And so he's, like, asked the angel, he's like, what's kind of going on? The angel's like, well, just before he tried to kill himself, he's in, like, 8th grade. And he saw this girl also in 8th grade who he has a crush on or is in love with or whatever you are in 8th grade. He saw her go into, like, a love hotel like they have in Japan with, like, a fucking 50-year-old man.
Jeez.
And she's in, like, grade 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was, like, in love with this girl. Like,
Notably where the age of consent is 14.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
I forgot about that.
So I guess it's legal.
And I believe the age of, like, oral sex, even younger.
Good to know.
Why do we
Have you been to
know this?
Japan
Yeah.
recently?
Man, can't wait for them to open back up.
Yeah. COVID ruined my sex life.
Sorry, the only reason why I've heard of this was because of a Matt Bat video where it talked about the history of Nintendo. Nintendo used to run love hotels.
Okay.
Way before they got into gaming.
But that's just a theory.
Before that, they were doing, I believe, physical games. Like card games, I believe.
Okay. That's a bit of a wild swing from physical card
Right?
games into love hotels.
They're like, you know how we can make money?
We've got the kids cornered.
Dude, so if the kids we're getting money from the kids, let's get money from the adults now.
Yeah.
Kids love to play cards, adults love to fuck.
We could do this at the same time.
The kids have something to do while the adults are at the hotel.
That's fucked. Anyway, so one of the first things this guy does in his new body is he confronts the girl who went into the love hotel with the older guy.
The grade 8.
Yeah, he confronts the grade 8 girl and is like snatches her from the hotel. He sees her going in again and he, like, grabs her and runs with her. And they, like, stop in, like, a food store and he sits down with her and he's like, why are you doing this? Like, what's going on? Like, are you being, like, coerced or whatever? And she's like, no, I just like the money.
Oh, okay. Yep.
She's like, I like getting paid. I like buying things and it's pretty easy. And he's like...
That's how I feel about IT work.
Yeah.
Except probably a bad
That is a bad comparison.
qualification to make there, yeah.
I feel like a 14-year-old getting fucked by a 50-year-old man.
It's similar to me resetting passwords.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stories you've told us.
So he's super into painting. The body's Makoto's previous, like, life, he was really into painting. So he tries painting as well, and he finds out he really enjoys it as well. And he's like, oh, he must have come here to, like, get away from his shitty life and stuff like that. So he, like, starts trying to finish a painting that Makoto was doing. And he's like, I actually, like, really enjoy this. Like, so he spends a lot of his time at the art club at the school. One girl he doesn't recognize that the angel didn't tell him about, because the angel told him about most of the people in his life.
Oh, so he can, like, convincingly recreate the life.
Exactly,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
One girl that he was told nothing about comes up to him and is like, hey, like, why are you acting so different? Like, you're being really weird. Because at this point, he's, like, styled his hair, he's wearing different clothes, he bought, like, really expensive sneakers so he'd stand out at school, like, that kind of stuff. And this girl's like, you aren't being normal. Like, what happened to you? Did you go on a retreat? Like, did you go to a seminar? Like, what is going on? And,
those are the options.
yeah.
That's
and
it.
he basically tells her to fuck off. Because he's like, I don't know.
Hey, kid, get the fuck out of my face, little bitch.
Yeah, because he doesn't know her and he's like, I don't care. And he's like, a lot of the time he's very blasé about, like, what he's doing with his kid's body because he's like, I don't know.
Not my body.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know these people. I don't care about these people. I'm just trying to find out what I did wrong.
It's very selfish.
He's trying to make this kid's life better at the same time so he can live more comfortably in his kid's life.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's so much problems,
I
Max.
It's your first
I feel
time.
terrible.
No, you're fine.
No, everyone has troubles in their first time. I get it.
Was that a sex joke?
Yes.
Anyway, continue.
I lasted 30 seconds my first time.
Dude, 30 seconds? Do you run a marathon?
Dude, what's your secret?
Yeah.
I think it was literally 4 pumps.
You did
And
4 pumps over 30 seconds?
The goal wasn't even attractive.
Dude, can you... No, actually just time it out right now. 30 seconds. Pump. Pump.
Oh my god.
Dude, I was
We're
tired.
halfway.
We did a lot of hand stuff in the meantime.
In the meantime.
Dude.
Pump. Alright, take a break.
That's a wrap.
Give us your hand.
Break for lunch.
Oh,
I love my friends.
Rowan. Oh, God bless you.
Keep talking about your
Anyway,
fucking
we're
weird
talking
little
about a
book.
child.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the more he learns about this kid's life, the more he realizes that this kid's life isn't so bad. Like, it's a lot deeper than he was originally thinking. Like, the mom, she cheated, yeah, but it was because, like, there was some,
She really wanted to.
She really wanted to, yeah. It wasn't like, there was no justification for it, but it was like, she was having a real bad time and, like, shit happens. And it's like, I guess people make a mistake sometimes. And then, but it turns out his dad also cheated. So it's like,
oh, sure.
perfect for each other. Who cares?
Yeah, par for the course.
His dad wasn't actually like a big narcissist. He just got a promotion at work because his boss ahead of him got investigated for fraud and like got arrested.
Love to see it.
So he got promoted and he was just happy about being promoted. He wasn't like power
He
hungry.
was just genuinely happy.
Yeah.
As Rowan is.
And so he can now provide for his family better kind of thing. The brother was mean to him, but the brother gave up going to med school because the brother was graduating that year. He said he told the parents, I'm going to take a gap year because his parents couldn't afford to send Makoto to high school, basically, because he wanted to go to a private school, but they were like, we can't afford it, you have to go to a public school. So his brother forewent medical school just so he could get into high school. And he confronted his brother about it, and his brother was just like, fuck off, idiot. Like, I didn't
Why
do
is
that
everyone
for
in
you.
this story so mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Finally, the girl who noticed that he was different basically breaks down one day and admits to him that she was in love with him. And like the previous version of him, where he was like this like brooding, solemn, wistful teenager with deep thoughts and artistic genius.
Now it's just some Chad.
Yeah, now it's just some Chad.
On the football team.
Yeah, and she tells him that she misses that side of him, but she's okay with the new him because he seems to like be happier.
Sure.
Like he's actually like fitting in properly, and
Yeah.
his life seems to have improved,
He's happy.
and he's happy. And she's like, I'm actually okay with it.
I imagine that B99 side where like Scully falls in love with this one girl. She doesn't like him back once he starts being all confident because the other characters start talking in his ear on a mic. You know, it's a whole thing. We've all been there. I think it's a very relatable story segment.
I can't believe you just to put it in terms you'd understand and then reference Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
One of the great shows of all time. Shut the fuck up, Jasmine!
So he finally, that breakdown makes him finally figure out what mistake he made in his previous life. And the mistake was killing himself, basically.
Oh no.
And he was that 14-year-old kid.
I was going to say, the
That's a
twist
cool
I was
twist.
thinking was he was reliving his exact same life.
Yeah, so he is now inhabiting his own body after he tried to kill himself.
Weird
And
thing being all like, if you kill yourself, that's it.
That's a grievance.
I mean,
That's a sin.
Like, saying it's a sin is bad, but obviously you can't blame someone for killing themselves, so I don't know how I feel about that little twist.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, it's, like, mistake is probably a good word.
Well, I think in the context of this book, you see that it actually, like, it would have really hurt this girl.
yeah,
and he's-
like, he saw exactly who he would have
the
hurt if he killed
consequences.
himself.
Yeah. I don't think it's, like, obviously it's a terrible tragedy and it's not something that you should stigmatize by saying it's a sin. But I think contextually in this book, I really like that twist.
Yeah, I think it was because I was imagining, like, he killed someone, he hurt someone, he, like, did this whole thing. So being like, he killed himself is, like, just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's like a twist almost.
It's almost like exactly what the fucking book was written for.
Yeah, but he basically figured out that, like, he needs to stop, like, being so cautious and hiding from everything until all his problems, like, well up and, like, burst.
Yeah.
And also that if fixing his life was so easy when he thought it wasn't his life, then how hard would it be when he does know it's his life,
Sure.
kind of thing.
Oh, that's like, actually, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I do like that.
I was a big fan of, like, the twist. I actually honestly can say I didn't see it coming for so long. Like, I thought, like, yeah, he's done something so... He's, like, a rapist, pedophile, like, some shit.
A rapist pedophile.
A
rapist,
a
pedophile.
pedophile rapist.
As opposed to those other pedophiles.
I mean, if you're going to pedophile... Wait, if you're going to rape anyone... It's like that. Oh.
But yeah, so I really liked the twist, and I really liked, like, him finding out about this guy's life through the lens of someone who, like, didn't know about it and then finding out it was his life kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like trying to imagine what someone else would do in your shoes if they had your life for, like, a week.
Sure.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. Now we're on to Rowan's straight little gaming corner.
I hate that fucking
Is that
name.
what we call that? I love that.
I'm just gonna grab 2 more beers so I can get through this fucking segment. So this week I committed the sin of not playing enough new video games to talk about. So I thought we're gonna have a bit of fun.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna do a little segment. My most anticipated games of the upcoming year of 2022.
Nice.
So I made a little list, the little
Yeah,
notes.
can I have a little squiz?
I'm gonna be talking about it, fuckhead.
Jesus.
So Max
Christ.
stole my list.
So aggressive.
I'm gonna try and remember my. No,
I'll tell them to you and you can tell me your thoughts on them.
no, I wrote notes.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Sure you can remember.
Max is actively
So-
making the podcast worst.
If I were to ask you your thoughts on Horizon Forbidden West.
So Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to the game I've been playing in the last few weeks, Horizon Zero Dawn. It appears to be a direct sequel, so you're playing as the same character, Aloy, and it seems like they're fixing a bunch of the stuff I had like frustrations with last game. Like climbing was kind of fucky. It was very like Assassin's Creed 1. Like you had to sort of guess where you can climb to. The melee combat is getting revamped, which is exciting because the melee combat was just like light attack, small attack, hope you can get hit. And without my notes, thank you, Max, my notes back. Thank fuck. The other thing they're revamping is the like actual movement. In the old game, you had like a horse, and then like variations of like a mount, like a robot horse or a robot bull.
Oh, this is the robot game.
This is a robot game.
I never played the
because
first
you never
one.
listened to our second podcast because it's
No,
not out
because
yet.
it's actually not out until...
Because of continuity, not out yet.
Yeah.
Listen to our second podcast and then come back
I
now.
will come back.
But yeah, so they're revamping a lot of the gameplay stuff that people had a little bit of issues with last game. And sort of like Fallout New Vegas, they're going for a post-apocalyptic, like, Wild West vibe.
Cool.
Which I really fuck with.
I can vibe with that.
So that's the first one. Second one, which I think Alex might also be excited for.
Dying Light 2?
That's already out.
Is it?
That, like, just dropped, I believe.
Really?
I could be wrong.
I'm
No?
too poor.
Yeah.
Is Elden Ring. So the next From
yes.
Software game.
Yes.
So essentially, it's they're working with George R.R. Martin for writing to work on like a.
And what's he worked on before?
So George R.R. Martin is really known for. I'm trying to think of like an obscure thing he worked on. But he's really known for not writing the last book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I was going to call it the Game of Thrones
not writing
series.
the last book.
He's known for not writing the final book in the series.
Did he not?
I don't fucking know. See, it's the director Hidetaki Miyazaki of Dark Souls, working from Software, the guy that made Demon Souls, fucking Sekiro, all the Souls-like games. And it's their first take on like a fully open world game, where like Sekiro was very segmented, Dark Souls was very segmented. This is the first like fully open world game. You can go from A to B in a straight line essentially. Has like mounted movement. And I'm kind of excited to see what From Software does, trying to like do a fully unsegmented open world game. I'm a bit worried because when a studio goes out of the comfort zone, it often sucks. But the gameplay looked good. It seems to be the same thing Dark Souls games did, where it's like, you're just this weak, puny human fighting things way bigger than you. And if you're good enough, you kill it.
Love that.
Then I'm excited for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is a big, essentially game-sized DLC for Monster Hunter Rise, which was one of my favorite games of last year.
Yeah, I remember that. That's episode 1.
That is episode 1, which you've listened to.
Listeners, go back and listen to Rowan's top 5.
Developed by Capcom, directed by Yasunori Ichinose, I believe is how you maybe pronounce that.
Where do you reckon he's from?
I was going to ask that on the last one when he was talking about Elden Ring.
Hidetaki Miyazaki. I hate you guys.
Where do you think he's from?
And essentially, they're adding new monsters, a new map to go to, and then new weapons and armor. And it's essentially sort of like when Monster Hunter World had Iceborne the expansion. It's a expansion the size of a full new game. And as someone who really enjoyed Monster Hunter Rise, I'm excited to play more of that. Next thing I'm excited for is Controversies.
Say that
Take your time.
properly.
Is this another Japanese game?
It is actually. Gran Turismo 7, which we briefly discussed earlier this episode.
Next. Boring.
I took...
Xbox trash.
Talk about God of War instead.
Sorry, just by Ubisoft. Developed by Polyphony Digital, directed by Kazunori Yamauchi.
Where's he from?
Dude, that never gets less funny.
It doesn't.
I took like a few notes because I've watched like the fucking 30-minute long state of play.
Last time you said it was 45 minutes, but sure.
Yeah.
It was 45 minutes if you include the
Continuity
15-minute
issues.
like buffer at the start, which is just the timer.
Why would you?
When I said 45 minutes, I was just like, oh no, that's not right. They're going to call me up on this.
You should watch this 10-minute YouTube video. It's actually 2 minutes, but my internet took 8 minutes to buffer it.
I hate you guys. So they said some small things like we'll have over 400 cars, which is like nice. If I play a racing game, I don't play the same like 7 cars.
What are the puddle physics like?
The puddle physics apparently realistic. I think they had too much money when they made this game because they kept talking about working with actual professional racers. The leading something champion of like Porsche racing, I think. They didn't talk about Formula 1 racing. I don't fucking watch racing. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist.
It's funny because he is.
But it comes from the fucking country, okay? One of the things they said, which kind of got me more interested, is it's designed so that people who don't have any experience in the automotive world will still understand what's going on, will still enjoy playing it.
So the cars are automatic.
Yeah. This is just any racing game by the sound of it.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
But one negative note I wrote is the last Gran Turismo game was GT Sport, and it was very full of microtransactions, like buying individual cards for real world money. Where obviously with playing games, it's more fun to just play, earn money in the game, unlock the cars. So yeah, weirdly excited for Gran Turismo 7. The next game that I'm hoping Max can give some input in, Starfield. You're a Bethesda guy, right? Surely you've played Fallout and Skyrim. Starfield is the next game by Bethesda. They haven't made their own full-fledged game, I believe, since Fallout 4. And it's the first new IP, I believe, since they made Elder Scrolls or bought Fallout, I believe.
I would believe that.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of games, but they publish a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, directed by Todd Howard, obviously the Skyrim and Fallout guy.
So you're going to wake up in a space cart.
Yeah, you're going to wake up in a space prison. Also, in the meme of like him never stopping to make Skyrim, one of his quotes is, "It's like Skyrim, but in space."
That sounds like Todd.
But I'm excited for like a new like big open world Bethesda RPG.
I'm always down for big open space exploration games.
Yeah, and if
I
it's
was
by
very excited for No Man's Sky, which
How'd that go?
obviously, huge letdown.
Have you played it since they've like revamped it?
I haven't. I just kind of put it down and said never again.
There's a really good video about No Man's Sky called The Regoodening of No Man's Sky by In Historian.
I'll have to watch it.
It's an hour long because that's literally how long the fucking saga of that game is post-launch.
Yeah.
But it's just about how they made the game good
Better.
after all the initial shit.
Yeah.
Added actual multiplayer, actual stuff they promised in the initial E3 trailer.
Yeah.
But I've never played it, so I wouldn't mind playing it for the first time now that it's been...
We should play it sometime.
I'd be down. Now it's been quote-unquote fixed.
Yeah. Sorry, Lex, you're not invited.
I assumed.
So yeah, my 5 most anticipated games of 2022. Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, Gran Turismo 7, and Starfield.
I'm really looking forward to...
Starfield getting fucking delayed.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring is coming out later this month.
Yeah. I know Lex has been a big fan of Dark Souls games for a while. I don't know about you. I think you have
Dark
as well.
Souls, probably my favorite
Dark
game.
Souls style. Yeah, yeah.
I really liked fucking Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, but I played it when I was doing a job I hated and dating a girlfriend I hated. So I was just so stressed all the time that when I got to the final boss, I was like, I actually am too stressed to put up with this, and I never beat it. And then when I felt a little bit better, I played it again to the same final boss, and then got too stressed again to beat it.
Yeah.
So I've just played the entire game twice up until the final boss.
Nice. I have only just discovered the exhilaration of playing Dark Souls styles game.
Really? What have you played recently?
Well, you were there. I was playing...
right. We played
I think
it
it's
together.
Dark Souls 3, right?
Yeah.
I started playing that about halfway through last year, rather.
Yep.
And I never really got the appeal. I dabbled around with a little Dark Souls 2 before that.
Mistake.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2.
It was very off-putting.
If you played Dark Souls 1 and you never heard of Dark Souls 3, and you just want a long game where you feel like a god because you're good enough to play Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2 is good for that because it's very easy compared to Dark Souls 1. So you just feel really powerful, and then you play Dark Souls 3 and you're like, actually, maybe I'm not as good at Dark Souls games as I thought.
Yeah.
Also, maybe having like 60 fucking bosses where half of them are just enemies with a bunch of enemies around them
Yeah.
is not that great.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that great. But I've really enjoyed 3 so far. I haven't finished it. I chip away at it every now and then. I'm really excited to play a Souls-style game where I'm not the last one getting there to play it. I think it would be...
being on like the front lines of it.
Yeah, being among... obviously not like the first, but in the first 3 to 6 months of it.
Yeah, you don't have all the like secrets like spoiled and like messages on the ground.
I really enjoyed the struggle of the later bit, because in the early bit of Dark Souls 3, there's a lot of scroll around that's like, don't do this, do this. This is a mimic or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I played Dark Souls 1 when it was still games for Windows Live, so the online just didn't work. So I essentially played it single player, can't summon anyone, messages half the time are broken. So when I went from Dark Souls 1 playing essentially single player to Dark Souls 3 can summon people, lovely.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Yeah,
just...
If you summon, you're a bitch.
If you play the game with an intended mechanic, you're a bitch.
Yes.
Way to gatekeep.
Dude, if you play the game with an intended mechanic... Back when Dark Souls 2 first came out, lightning bolts were so fucking OP that literally everyone used them because they just killed bosses in like 3 hits.
And if they had fun, that's okay.
Yeah, that's the point of the
Dude,
game.
if you played Horizon Zero Dawn on the story mode, fake gamer.
Yeah. I think that sums it up pretty perfectly.
Thing of the week. What is it?
This week?
This week.
This week, it was dropped on me last minute that I had to bring something to talk about.
So Max, last week Alex told me to pick my favorite Flash game. And then we were all going to play it and then talk about it.
This is all news to me.
Exactly. Max wasn't telling me this. I picked Achilles, which is possibly the most boring Flash game I could have picked. Describe Achilles in a sentence, Lex.
Wait, are they Greek or Roman?
They're Greek.
Greek.
They're Spartans.
Yeah,
Oh, is Achilles a Spartan? Or is that
Achilles
a
is
whole
Greek.
different thing?
Achilles
I know
is
he's
Greek.
Greek, but
Greek
Spartans are
mythology.
like...
Spartans are Greek.
Yeah, but also like, just because he's Greek doesn't mean he's Spartan. He could be like...
He's Mycenaean Greek, I believe.
Why don't you produce your show for him then?
I will say a 2D side scroller where Greek man stabs other Greek men.
And that's literally all you can say about it.
I would just say kick.
Yeah, so
I watched Rowan kill a boss
by
kick
you can
stunlocking him.
kill every boss by pressing the kick button back to back.
Yeah.
And not get hit. So I thought it'd be way more interesting if Max talks about what he brought instead.
Yeah, so I brought along with me, I brought a little fidgety aid, because I know these boys get distracted.
We love
easily.
fidgeting.
I thought we'd talk about things that we do in our downtime.
It's only occurring to me now that you're picking something noisy.
It's not
No,
noisy.
I think the
it's
noise
just noisy
adds to
coming
it.
out of the box.
Never
There's one for
mind.
Emma.
Emma's
I get
immediately
one too.
happy because she got handed
Yeah.
a mini as well.
I fixed it immediately. So I brought with me some models and some paints so that we can enjoy some hobby while we talk about it.
I'm assuming this is Warhammer because of how obscenely detailed it is.
Yeah, I believe this is the, it's from the Blood Angels Space Marine line. Yeah, so I just thought I was going to talk about Warhammer for a little bit, and I thought both the boys, note the use of the word boys over men, I thought that we could just chat about our chosen hobbies and why we enjoy them. I know Lex partakes
like
in
that.
woodworking, which I think is very cool. Rowan obviously plays video games. I'm sure there's something else. He loves a board game,
I hate
actually.
that you looked over your shoulder and I was
did.
like, this can either be kind of lame or super lame.
I didn't pick the Rubik's Cube.
He didn't pick the Rubik's Cubes, so I can salvage this.
And yeah, I just thought we could talk about why we enjoy our hobbies and what kick we get out of them.
Sure.
So
How much you've brought to this episode.
Max has put more effort into preparation for this episode than me and Lex have put in combined for the last 2 episodes. I'll talk first. I feel like board games are easy to explain.
Yeah.
It doesn't really require explanation. Like
it's a good
it's
segue into
the most social form of gaming, I believe. You have to look someone in the eyes when you play it. You have to be physically together unless you're playing like Tabletop Simulator or something. And I think it's just a guaranteed way if you're with a group of friends you really like hanging out with, just have a great time. You can really cater the game to the group of friends. Cubing, probably the harder hobby to explain. I like solving Rubik's Cubes, 2x2, 3x3, some weird ones. Because once you learn how to solve like a regular 3x3, learning all the other ones a lot easier. And then it sort of becomes like a stress relief thing. Makes you look smarter than you are. Gives you something to do without really thinking that much. And it just is kind of just stimulating enough that you're not like falling asleep, but just chill enough that you're like de-stressing.
Coincidentally, that's a lot of what I like about Warhammer, especially with the painting. It's very easy to make stuff look good, and then people think that you're very creative and special.
But actually you're just like following steps.
Yeah, you're just following steps, and it's so easy to make these models look nice. And it's a very zen sort of thing. It's very, you can make it as private or as public as you want.
I know a lot of people paint Warhammer figures, but they don't even play the game. They just enjoy the painting.
Yeah.
For people who don't have a friend like you, how do you recommend for them to get into like mini painting? It's just like finding a local LGS. Or...
Yeah,
I just
so-
said local gaming store.
Local gaming store. They don't know that until now. So usually there'll be a little hole in the wall hobby store, which is where all the hobbyists like to hide out of daylight and sunshine.
They try to avoid the Magic players.
Out of daylight, sunshine, and women.
Yeah. I met the producer at a hobby store though. Interestingly,
We all met the producer at a hobby store. We all met each other at a hobby store, I
we
believe.
did indeed. But yeah, there's always, if you just look up hobby stores near me,
If you look up hobby stores near Max, you'll find your local hobby store.
Max hobby stores. But yeah, it's very zen. It's very peaceful. It's nice breaking the monotony from the day to day sort of thing.
What's the rules for painting models for the competitive scene?
So this was actually a big point of contention.
Oh, I'm
with a lot
excited.
of
I'm
people.
bringing some drama into it.
Yeah,
I'm loving the ASMR as well while he's starting to paint.
So ideally, you should have 3 colors, and you should have your base with some sort of material on it.
So does someone put material on the base, put 3 lines on the body, and they're good to go?
Yeah, there have been people who have done that. But also, there was an issue with... so, of course, for each army, there's a bunch of different sub-factions you can pick. So
Sure.
I might be, superhuman warriors, but then there's, it's like how in the real world, there's a bunch of different armies.
Black
in the world,
people, white people.
Sure, I guess. If you want to go the South African approach.
Jasmine, you want to paint something? Jasmine, tell us why you right now feel like painting.
Purple.
Purple. While Jasmine gets the base layers down on her model, Lex, why don't you walk us through woodworking and why it appeals to you?
How the fuck are you carrying this podcast so hard right now?
No, you carried this thing so hard earlier.
I've listened to the first episode. He's the one carrying the podcast.
I don't know.
Just in case no one noticed. But this episode, I feel like I talked a bit.
Yeah, you
So
did a
talk
great
about
job.
playing with wood.
As
How do
a
you
gay
shape your
man,
wood.
As a homosexual.
as an
As
anti-city
someone
point.
not welcome. Yeah, as someone not welcome at City Point.
I like woodworking because you get a finished product of something that you can use, in the sense that like you get to look at and use what you've created with your own like bare hands. Similar to like painting a model where you like paint it and then you get to use it to play a game, or you get to put it on your shelf and look at it, that kind of thing. Specifically, I like to make bows.
Which is sick, by the way. You don't mention that enough. If I made bows as a hobby, I would introduce... That'd be my Tinder bio. I don't have a Tinder, Jasmine. I'm not trying to cheat on Emma.
Yeah, I've got a hinge.
Sorry, Lex, continue.
But yeah, like having a finished product you can use is quite sweet. And bows specifically, I find really fun because like archery is super fun. And archery is also super fun when you made the bow yourself, kind of thing. And the process of making a bow is like really interesting.
I like that you enjoy it enough to... If you like have a friend you really want to like show you appreciate them, you'll just make them a bow. You've done that once or twice?
Yeah.
I've done that twice. Once for Charlotte and once for Adam.
Which just
still
shows
waiting.
you enjoy it, and secondly shows like how cool the craft is. The fact that you're making something that someone would enjoy to have.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it again though, because neither people I've given them to have used them ever.
What?
Really?
That's really sad.
I would use that thing every
Charlotte
day.
lives with you.
In like the 3 years that Charlotte has had the bow I made for her, she hasn't touched it once. And like I've used it occasionally because I like to go in the backyard and just like shoot the target I've got. But like, and to be fair, Adam's only had it for a few months, so like, and he lives in an apartment, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
You'd have to go to your place to use it.
No,
Yeah.
I like the idea of Adam sitting out on his balcony, just
Taking pot shots of the
taking
cars.
pot shots at people
Yeah.
passing by.
And I don't mean to like.
Dude, I haven't seen ambulance in a while. Let's make that change.
I don't mean to like be mean to Charlotte for not using the present I got her or whatever, because like she doesn't like archery, so like very fair that she hasn't used it. But like I realize that like bows aren't something that everyone likes, so it's like not.
But I think even as a display item,
Yeah,
like if you make me a bow and it's just to have on my wall,
it's
that
going
is
on the wall.
easily top 3 presents I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I made my mum a bow that she keeps on the wall, but it's like unfireable. Like I didn't make it properly. I just made it for looks. And my sister's boyfriend came over one time and picked it up and like put an arrow in it and like shot it. and it like went over the balcony like into like the neighbor's yard or whatever.
Okay.
And he was just like, I did not expect it to work. And for the most part, it doesn't. If you pull it back too hard, it breaks.
Of course.
Just don't pull it back too hard.
Yeah.
But
Just don't be so goddamn strong.
yeah,
Dude, don't be as strong as Alex's sister's boyfriend.
he is a big man. But yeah, so like I really enjoy that. But making bow is fucking hard. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it would be hard.
I could only imagine.
like the amount that goes into the finer detail of it to make it not only work but also not look like shit. And like, because you have to make it like to put it as simply as possible, you have to make it bend properly. And to make wood bend properly, you either have to have like a lot of spare time to whittle it down really slowly and evenly.
Is it very like trial and error, or is there like something you follow, or just like you get to know it after a time?
It is very trial and error. I've snapped so many bows, and you have to get used to projects that you've worked on for days just breaking and becoming unusable.
Sure.
That's heartbreaking.
It is terrible, but I've gotten used to it. But like back when I first started, I'd snap a bow and I'd be like so cut about it.
It's like when I was doing app development, and the first time I spent a few weeks working on like... Shut the fuck up. The first few weeks I spent like making a feature, and then the client was just like, actually, I don't think we'll use that.
Oh,
Cut it.
Okay.
Just, I know we've like gone like a little bit over time, but I would like Jasmine to go up to the mic and just talk about why you like painting.
Welcome, Jasmine.
Can we get a round of applause for Jasmine, please?
Round of applause for Jasmine.
My name is Jasmine, and I have a cat named Bougie and Starry, and their names are Devon. Wait.
They are Devonshire.
Okay, cut that. I like painting.
No, louder.
That's more like it.
That's way better.
Like painting.
And why do you like painting?
Because it's precise. And no one's allowed to judge it. You have an opinion, I don't care. Currently, Max's birthday is in like 8 days or something, and I'm still painting his picture.
You're painting him a picture?
That's so sweet of you.
Oh my god, I told him.
Sorry, you go.
Anyway.
sorry.
Sorry, you're gay.
Sorry, you're gay.
I am
Very
also
classic
very
Emma.
gay.
So that's closing off the third episode of the 1.5 Straight Guys podcast. For next week's Thing of the Week, I'd like Alex to talk about his poetry.
Oh, fuck.
Alex does this little thing. Every month, he writes his moods for the day. Releases 31 moods every month. And they're fucked. Funny. I'm a big fan of them.
They're truly captivating.
Truly captivating. He's released one book of moods so far. And for next week, I'd just like to know the moods he's written that week, because I think it'd be a bit of fun.
Sounds good to me.
So that's where I like to see you next week. And because it's my turn to pick, you can't say no.
Yeah, and since you ended the podcast like this, I can't say no either.
Exactly. I've been Rowan.
I've been Alex.
And I've been Max.
See you all next week.
Aw, adorable.
That's the cleanest ending we've had so far.